it all seems to be summarized by the idea of whatever people need, people should get. Parents and children need early childhood education, so they should get it. The workers in these environments, they need compensation, so they should get it, without regard to considering where it's going to come from. In fact, in the list of stakeholders here on the first page of the approved recommendations, I noticed the conspicuous absence of taxpayers.
As the person who one of the people who wrote this and sort of gave them the charge, I'll note that I think that the thing is under classic economic theory. So education is something that has massive positive externalities, right? I can't think of a form of education around the world that doesn't have where there's not where it's simply for profit. Even think about the vouchers proposed on the GOP side. It's still public dollars that are going to support education.
It does concern me when we remove price as a mechanism for determining where we should be making our investments, both individually and communally.
There is a shared understanding in economics that there is frequently market failure, and we see that in our care economy, where we know prices don't reflect the true value of goods and services in an economy, and so that means that we don't pay our child care providers enough, we don't pay our teachers enough, and so and because we know that there is market failure, right? The government subsidizes things that have positive externalities because we know that that is a value to society. There are also negative externalities for certain things, and this is also where we try to hold polluters accountable, right? And so I want to make sure that when we talk about price, it's very clear that sometimes prices in the market are accurate and sometimes they're not. And I think the proposal before us, right, is trying to make sure that we are properly compensating for some of the goods and services that we find valuable in the community.
Whether the dollar comes from private pay money, businesses, or government, we're all paying for the services that we need, whatever it is. There is no magic money tree in the backyard. Taxpayers pay the government. And so whatever programs we come up with for seniors, for adults, or for children is paid by somebody, which is all of us in this room. So I just want to make sure we understand the model we're looking at, that it's sustainable.
Representative Zalezakar, you made a comment, you said there's no magic money tree. And I guess I just want to say there is a magic money tree. Like, it actually exists. This is it. 13% ROI. There's just so much research. So, I mean, it's like, actually, like, this is the payoff. It's funny, this is like the biggest, most high impact investment we can make, and we pay the people who do it the worst. So it actually, I mean, there actually is a magic money tree. This is it.
And I think we need to be clear that these are different sides of the same equation. When we say we want to provide oversight, often that results in more regulation. When we say we want to make sure that folks are doing the things that public dollars are supposed to be doing, that requires regulation. And so I think, there is always that tricky balance, but I think we just need to be clear about where these regulations come from.
In response to Representative Coulter's point regarding regulation, price is a fantastic regulating instrument. And I'll give you an example that is adjacent to the work we do here in this committee. So there was an op-ed, I don't have it in front of me, from the Star Tribune a while back, that was written by a former superintendent of Minneapolis schools. And in it, he was talking about the problem of literacy and citing the shocking fact that 60 to 70% of kids are not reading at grade level. And his focus of that op-ed was talking about the science of reading as opposed to another methodology, I think it's called whole language, that had been utilized for a number of years, and that there was this kind of internal ideological battle between which should be used, and whole language had won out for a long time. And his case was that was a mistake, and we shouldn't have done that, and we need to pivot to talking about the science of reading and going back to kind of like a phonics-based approach. And he proposed we need to spend however many billions of dollars in order to do that. And the point that I thought that was missed in that op-ed is questioning a system that enabled and allowed the wrong approach to achieving its goal to persist chronically and systemically, and with such a deleterious effect upon the people that it's meant to serve. That would not have happened, in my view, had parents been empowered with the ability to utilize the mechanism of price to regulate the services that are being provided to their children. And so what I hope, again, that we can take into consideration as we proceed with this work is providing opportunities, because what I see kind of hinted at in some of these recommendations is modeling this new department off of the existing Department of Education and having kind of a parallel or similar structure of thinking in terms of how to fund it. We're going to fund based on enrollment as opposed to attendance and that type of language. Well, that comes straight out of how we fund schools. So I think this is an opportunity for us to pause and reflect upon the successes and failures of our system to date and try not to replicate the failures, and maybe even find a way that works that we can translate into K through 12 and beyond. So thank you.